Hello everyone, this is Marcus here, and today I'm going to be hosting a game, Company of Heroes game, between Manslaughter and Kublai. Kublai is a seasoned American player and Manslaughter is a Wehrmacht player. Both of them have been playing a lot a few years ago, but have stopped playing for a year or so, I don't know. And now they're having back at each other. As you can see, Kublai is starting out with two engineers here. Building riflemen, standard build for any American player. I'm going to turn off that fog of war so we can see what Manslaughter does. He's built two Pios, capturing that fuel instantly and going for that connection point here. As you can see, that strategic point connects that fuel point, so those 2 points will be pretty vital throughout the game. Manslaughter here building Volks now and advancing. Basically, both players are now capping points and trying to win territory, which they will need to get resources. Kublai going for that victory point. Manslaughter still hasn't taken that victory point here. He's focusing on resources at the moment. Kublai getting another rifleman squad out. Manslaughter is keeping it with Volks. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a very important strategic point for Manslaughter. This one is connecting all these territories here. The most important one, obviously, is that fuel point, and there's some fighting going on here. We'll take a look at the action. Manslaughter garrisoning an Volk squad in the building. Kublai choosing to ignore that. Manslaughter is exiting that building and pushing for Kublai's fuel. We'll see what he's going to do about that. Not a lot. He's being overwhelmed and makes a run for it. So Manslaughter still hasn't taken any victory points. He's obviously going for all the resources here, but Kublai is going for that important point we spoke about earlier. Manslaughter is going to as you can see, he's reacting to that instantly, and Kublai running rather cravenly after only a few shots. Taking back some turf on the west side of the map.
Way to go, engineers. We hold the point.
The battle's going on pretty even now. Kublai's brought in more riflemen, and Manslaughter has deployed his first MG. Note that he's not chosen to deploy his MG in that building, but rather keeps it mobile and puts it behind the bushes there. Manslaughter capturing that ammo point, and this important strategic point, which, as you can see, cuts off all the territory. Oh no, it doesn't. This point is actually keeping Kublai alive here. Riflemen shooting from out of cover, aided by the engineers. They're going to make this, but it might take too long. I don't know how much time Kublai has before this MG arrives here. Yeah, that machine gun is going to cut off Kublai from this road, but he'll still be able to flank it from here. The problem is that this machine gun is covered by that machine gun, so there's no way in between. The only way he can attack from is here. But what is he doing? So he's researched Brownings. Let's see how that fares for him. Rifleman still shooting. Over there, pinned down now and fleeing from the field. And as you can see, on this very moment, there's only one unit in the field. It's an engineer's unit with flamers, but otherwise he's completely cut off and contained in his base, really. Manslaughter has now successfully cut him off. Kublai has no resources, or very little. He will not be able to get away with this one. Manslaughter actually advancing that MG too far forward, and I lost the other MG. Not really sure where he's placed him. I placed him here.
Cut forward supply lines.
So the riflemen have broken loose from their base. They'll need to capture this point ASAP to get back in the game. Kublai is now capturing Victory Point in the center, but is under fire by the machine gun. Fortunately for him, he's now out of range.
Alright, men. Time for the fight.
And he's opted to retreat. Manslaughter placing some mines here next to the strategic point, and Kublai has actually made it cheap. I'm not really sure what he's going to do with that. Maybe he's just going to make sure that no one is ninja capping his resources. He's probably going for this engineer unit here, that fire unit. Meanwhile, the riflemen are taking back this point, and they ran right into the mines. That hurt.
This is recon.
Kublai harassing those engineers here, and he's building more riflemen.
Just give the order.
That's quite surprising, because the riflemen aren't really working for him now, and he's still building more of those. Obviously that Browning upgrade was quite the investment, so he has to make it count. Now Manslaughter is garrisoning that building here with an MG, so it's going to be hard to approach this for Kublai. Manslaughter is making a really good use of MGs, and has now brought the sniper to the field as well. This is going to make Kublai's life a living nightmare. Manslaughter is now focusing on anything anti-infantry. As you can see, he's brought out a sniper here, 2 machine guns. He's gone very heavy in special weapon teams.
Listen up, people.
Kublai now approaching.
Supply yard is now in action. We're losing them as fast as we're getting them.
We're losing a strategic sector.
Unfortunately for him, he wasn't continuing, but he probably had no way of knowing that the MG squad wasn't garrisoned in this building anymore. However, it is garrisoned here, and it will fire upon him. Kublai not wanting to budge, and he's going to flame out that MG. No, says the MG, I'm not staying here. So he's getting out. Again, this very vital spot is under attack by Volks. cut off. Kublai is cut off by Manslaughter here, so he's going to need to stop those folks and get that point back ASAP. Meanwhile, in the center of the map, Manslaughter has built an armored car and is now actually destroying those riflemen. He needs to pull them out. He needs to pull them out now. This is not looking good for Kublai, but he's going to have to think of something to get rid of that armored car first and foremost, and do something about those special weapon teams.
Berlin by Christmas.
He's got the mobility, but he's not taking advantage of that.
They're going after one of
Manslaughter
our munitions points.
is now taking back what was his.